Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I want to talk about foundation and concealer from a brand that's new to me. I know it's probably not new to you guys. I'm sure you've seen something here on YouTube, but completely new to me. And it is from the brand Koki, which is, it's got like this little elephant thing on it. I think it's an elephant, yeah. From the many times that I've been there, I've never seen Koki there. I see that they have it online. But I went there like 2 weeks ago, and I saw this, and I saw their foundation, which is the Be Bright Illuminating Concealer. So I was like, oh my god, I have to try it out. So I picked it up. Oh, this is called the Kokie Skin Perfect HD Foundation. It comes in 18 shades, and there's a variety of cool and warm undertones. It claims to be medium to full coverage with a natural semi-matte finish. It's supposed to be long wearing and never cakey. Also, it is $12.99. You could find it at Sally Beauty, Harmon's, or Rite Aid. I'm excited to try it out. We're going to do a wear test today. We're going to talk about application. And yeah, so let's get into it. So I'm going to shake it because I have used this once before since I purchased it. It's very, very, very watery. So, and real quick, I just want to kind of put this in here. I did like a survey with some of you guys here on my community tab, and I was curious because I do a lot of foundation videos, and most of the time I use my fingers. I'll occasionally use like a brush to kind of buff out whatever I'm putting on. And I was wondering, like, you know, what kind of beauty tools do you guys use? Is it sponges, fingers, brushes? And I was really surprised that like a little more than half of you, at least the ones that answered the survey, right? Because it's not going to cover everybody, so whoever answered it, use a sponge. And I was like, oh my god, I never used a sponge. Like, you need to start using a sponge. You know, just so it's a little more relatable so you guys can see the application. So, starting from today, moving forward, when I do foundation applications like reviews and stuff, I'm going to start using a brush and a sponge. So my shade is 40W or 40 Warm. Not gonna lie, when I went there, they didn't have that many foundations available to purchase, but their shade range was actually pretty nice. And I can appreciate that there was a cool option and a warm option. So it comes in a pump. I shook it very well. I'm going to just, so see? So now if I turn my hand, it starts to kind of drip. It's not like super like watery fluid, but you know, it is pretty fluid. So it's not like a gel formula or anything. It's a straight up liquid. So that's the color. Just gonna blend it out. And it feels nice. I mean, it feels like pretty moisturizing. Doesn't feel like it's very drying or anything. So that's kind of it blended out. So I'm just going to add a little bit more because when you're using a sponge, you know, the sponge sometimes tends to soak up a lot of the product. Real quick, I would not recommend applying this foundation with foundation brush, like a paddle brush, because it's going to get streaky. So, I mean, you can do that, but if you do that, I would strongly suggest following up with a sponge or a brush like this. This one is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. It's a little more dense and it really buffs in foundation nicely. It's a great one. So that's just because I was putting it on the other day and I was like, wow, it's like super streaky. Do the sponge side on my right side. And I'm just going to take my sponge. It's already damp. And I'm going to pick up the product. So that's really pretty. So it gives me the coverage, but in a light layer because I'm using a sponge, especially a damp one. So I like that finish. It's really nice. I like it. All right, so now let's go in with the brush. Just gonna add a little bit more. So that's that finish. I think it looks really nice. All right, so I think the color match was good. I got lucky with that one because it was either that or something a little bit darker, or I think something that had like more of like a pinky undertone, which is never gonna work for me. Next, you're gonna go in with the Be Bright Illuminating Concealer. And I'm just gonna take a little bit and I'm gonna put that on the back of my hand. This is the, let me show you the shade. This one is called Golden Beige. So it's that. And I'm just gonna blend it out. So there were not many shades available in this color. There were not many shades available for this one. And I wasn't crazy about the concealer selection, but then again, like, you know, sometimes when you have the display and it has like the little shading of it, like underneath the color, I was like, I don't know, you know, if that's gonna work. And a lot of it was either like peachy or pinky. I happened to find this one and it looked like it would work out of all of them. And it's funny because it looks a little bit darker in the container, but when you put it on, it's a little lighter. So, and the shade that I picked up is not going to be one that's going to, say, highlight underneath my eyes. If anything, it's going to match like my skin really nice. Does that make sense? So it's more of a like straight up concealer versus a brightening concealer. If I was able to get it in a lighter shade, then it would be more of a brightening concealer. But it's still, you know. Oh, really quick. I didn't read about this one. It's an illuminating concealer. It's supposed to be like a dewy kind of finish, dewy highlight, dewy highlighting concealer or dewy concealer. I'm going to just go in with my finger under this side and then I'll do a sponge with this one. So it looks really nice. The coverage is actually really good too. I'm not super dark under my eyes and I'm well aware of that. So I'm not like the best candidate for saying like, hey, this is going to be color correcting or anything like that. I get that. But I do have some darkness underneath my eyes and I'm dealing with like my sinuses being inflamed and everything. So I get puffy, I get dark under my eyes. And this is doing a nice job of just canceling that out or just kind of brightening. So it does have that brightening factor from what I'm seeing, even though the shade is not that much lighter. It's still doing its job though. Like in my personal opinion, if you look through here, it looks brighter. Like look at the difference between this eye and this one. So I do like that. And next I'm just going to do some under my right eye. And I'm going to take that sponge. It's got like a nice little point and like a flat end on this side. I was trying to put more underneath my eye, but all right, let's see. There you go. I don't like taking concealer from the wand and just putting it underneath my eyes. Like if you follow me for a while, you notice that I never do that. I don't know. I don't like it. So that is the foundation and the concealer. I'm just going to come in a little bit closer so that you guys could see. I like the finish. Let me dim down the light a little bit. I feel like I'm like so bright. Is that better? You guys let me know if it's better. I like it. It's giving me a nice, pretty glow. It's not crazy like, it's not crazy matte because I don't really like matte foundations. I would say that it's definitely a semi-matte. So I'm going to finish my makeup. We'll come back when I'm done. We'll like look at it here and then I'll go into like natural light so you guys could see it and I'll do some check-ins. So I'll be back. Okay, so this is outside in natural sunlight, the foundation. Take my glasses off. It's a little bit bright. One thing I want to say is I have been blowing my nose, so I don't think the foundation is going to last very long around my nose. So, all right, and a little bit more sunlight. So, that's the foundation. All right, so this is the final check-in. I put the foundation on around 10:30 in the morning, and now it's 9 o'clock. So it's been about 10 and a half hours, which is a long time. And let's see, let's take a look. Honestly, I think it looks the same as when I put it on. So I'm gonna come close and you guys can see my face. The concealer faded a little bit, but it's not terrible. And the part around my nose did disappear, but that's no fault to the foundation itself. That was just me blowing my nose all day. So it kind of like faded here and like here. But it's not like, it's not bad, you know? I think the color match is, the foundation is very, very close to my skin tone. So you really don't see like, oh, it's faded or anything. And, you know, this was the side that I applied it with the sponge, and this is the side that I used the brush. And to be honest, I think it's the same finish. It's the same finish. It's the same on both sides. I think my skin looks kind of radiant. It's not dewy, and you know, typically my foundations, I tend to choose dewy foundations. This one actually stayed like a true demi matte or semi matte, so that looks good. The part of the concealer that, you know, has stayed, it still looks illuminating, but like I said, that part but definitely faded a little bit here. But again, I do have like sinus issues, so my eyes do water a little bit. I'm congested, so you know, that's, you got to take that into consideration basically. But I think that for drugstore foundation, I think for wearing 10 and a half hours, which is again a lot. I usually, like when I do my makeup, I'm gonna go somewhere, I'll do it either like 30 minutes before, or you know, if I feel like wearing makeup, sometimes the most I'd wear makeup is like 8 hours. 10 hours is like pushing it for me. But I think it held up really nice. I was outside for a little bit too. I was watering the plants. And granted, today wasn't super hot, but it stayed pretty well. And for those of you that are curious, I had mentioned in another video that I was trying on blush from CoverGirl. And this is it after, again, like 10 and a half hours. And it still stayed on nice. So I think it's a good one. I think that if you were curious about this one, it's definitely worth checking out. I don't know if it's available on Amazon. If it is, I'll link below. And yeah, and the concealer, you know, the concealer is good. It's not bad. I feel like it did its job for the most part. You could always reapply it. I'm not like disappointed in this. I'm not gonna not use it. I think it's fine. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I don't set my foundation typically. I didn't set my foundation either. So my makeup is, I applied it and that was it. So the staying power is really good. So I wanted to just quickly mention that. So those are my thoughts on the Kokie Skin Perfect HD Foundation and the Be Bright Illuminating Concealer. I think they're good. Definitely worth checking out. And yeah, if you guys have tried these, let me know, comment down below. I'm very curious to know what your like experience with it was. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I'm going to wash my face. So good night. Bye guys.